Hello fun people, I'm Isaac Carlson and I'm focused on spreading magic by discussing Disney. And I have to admit that Frozen 2 didn't necessarily feel like a masterpiece creatively for me through every step of Elsa and Anna's journey. There was a bit of frustration within me when it came to how some of the characters behaved, individuals' lack of development, repeated beats from Frozen, and some relationships feeling too simplified or reverted back to previous times in the character's story. As I expected though, I'm beginning to accept and embrace a lot of the creative decisions that were made now that more time has passed, and I have found that I do have a soft spot for the world and the characters, which I particularly realized when I played the Frozen 2 VR short and watched the documentary Into the Unknown, The Making of Frozen 2 on Disney+. I mean, how couldn't I have loved the Frozen 2 documentary? They were going into the process of making a Disney animated feature film and revealing tons of footage within the animation studio itself. I couldn't stop watching once I turned it on, and I mean, we even got to see Jennifer Lee driving a Tesla. That's awesome stuff. That's good content. But even though I can recognize more clearly that there are elements that I am connected with in Frozen 2, I still think there is one scene that could have been changed to transform this film for me into a sequel that would exist in my mind forever. And of course, if you are new here and you'd like to join this community of Enchanted Forest travelers, then consider subscribing. And if you'd like to share how you would have changed Frozen 2 or why you think it is great the way it is, I'm beginning to stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Twitch, which will be linked below. At the beginning of Frozen 2, I would have cut straight to introducing the Enchanted Forest. I would have also wanted to expand how Kristoff was changing and finding his place within Arendelle, and I think if it was up to me, there would have been a bit more context building up to Anna as the future queen. But if I could only make one change, it would be to focus on what Frozen is known for, and that I think is its greatest strength, the bond between Elsa and Anna. To focus on that relationship more and to clearly show that they were actually continuing to function as a team and remaining loving sisters, I would not have had Elsa force Anna away after they discovered the truth about their parents. I don't think Elsa and Anna should have been pushed apart as far as they were without confronting that gap between them. You may know from previous videos of mine that the characterization of Elsa was what frustrated me the most. Seeing Elsa continue to move away from Anna confused me when they seemed to be so happy within Arendelle together. I mean, what happened? Come on, Elsa, be honest with Anna. But at the same time though, I do think it's great that Elsa is forging her own path and discovering her own destiny without being apologetic as she does that. But I think she should have continued to do that with Anna by her side. Anna was going through a lot of changes as well. As the creators explained in the documentary, Anna had nothing to lose in the first Frozen film, and in the sequel, Anna was just concerned that Elsa was going to be consumed by going too deep into her past. There was a lot to lose for her. Both sisters were protective of one another, which didn't make me feel like they were a unit, but were constantly conflicting throughout their journey. I don't think it would have made sense for Anna to go to Ahtohallan with Elsa. Looking back, that doesn't really make sense. Anna couldn't have crossed the Dark Sea. But if they are going to go into and finish Frozen 2 by stating that they are a team, I think they needed to have a moment before they part ways where they solidify that idea. Instead of Elsa turning Anna away like she did throughout Frozen, I think that Elsa and Anna could have continued to have an argument about how they were going to continue forward now that Elsa knew she had to go to Ahtohallan. But conclude that moment with them deciding that they each had their own destiny to follow. I think in a very emotional moment of the story, they could have found that to be the best team, they had to let go of one another. Elsa could come to see that she should never purposefully push her sister away again, and Anna could finally learn to trust her older sister again. And I think the best way to show these sisters having an emotional conflict that is able to be resolved and brings them closer together would be through a duet. What I picture is something like the For the First Time in Forever reprise in Frozen. That was the moment when Anna was desperately trying to call Elsa back down to Arendelle that results in Anna's heart being frozen by Elsa's magic. This wasn't necessarily the anthem of the film, but is a moment that is always so emotional, powerful, and displays exactly where both characters are at. To reference another princess musical I adore, I would also have loved if this song was like Nothing Left to Lose in Tangled the series. I think it would have been such a great time to showcase the two mindsets that Elsa and Anna were in, address their problems and how they thought they were going to be able to live happily ever after following Frozen, show through music that they care, support, and love one another, but that they disagree with each other as to how the other has been making decisions. Before they found their parents' ship, Elsa hadn't told Anna about the voice in her head and continued to try to follow the spirits by herself without her sister, while Anna was deliberately putting herself in danger to attempt to help her sister. Their goals and priorities seemed to be at conflict with one another, and I think this song could have set them straight. I think these two sisters should have had their frustrations burst through and projected to us in a bold, daring, and cinematic way, rather than Elsa pushing Anna away and forgetting about the conflict that they endured. The foundation for Elsa and Anna to wrestle with their places in the world was laid, and we see the results of them both finding their new roles as Queen Anna and Elsa as the fifth spirit. But I think it would have been much more effective to have them make that realization that they were in the Enchanted Forest to both find their purposes. They needed to support one another as they discover themselves independently. And I think a big duet could have shown that transformation within their relationship. This was about halfway through Frozen 2 as well, which is traditionally when a turning point in the story is supposed to occur, where the characters will be forced to decide what they are going to do next in their journey. I think seeing the truth about their parents' death could have been that moment that would have forced them to confront the reality that the Enchanted Forest was a dangerous place that was tied with their past. Here, they would need to decide as sisters how to move forward and what this realization meant for them. I think through a powerful, intense, and emotional duet, Elsa and Anna could have decided that they weren't going to let fear hold them back any longer, and they knew that their love for one another would allow them to continue to fight through whatever continued to come their way, even if they were apart. And I think this would culminate in them hugging like they were shown to do in Some Things Never Change, and later on, after the Enchanted Forest curse was finally lifted. Therefore, throughout the entirety of Frozen 2, we see that Elsa and Anna are working through this difficult crossroads in their life, where they are being pushed to go and become different people, and are deciding together that they will continue to be a team. Knowing that Elsa and Anna parted ways on good terms, with Elsa going to confront the origin of her magic and the mystery of the curse, while Anna returns to the Northuldra and the Arendelian Guard to eventually undo the curse, we would feel more empathy for Elsa's decision to go deeper into Ahtohallan, because she would not be pursuing the mystery on her own, but also for Anna. Elsa would drown in Ahtohallan not only for her own curiosity, desires, or internal drive, but also because she promised Anna she would discover all she could when she found the place their parents had been heading. Anna at the same time would feel extremely driven when she found out that Elsa had given her life pursuing the answers that she had promised Anna that she would find, which would have surely made Anna's rise even more powerful. The princess was lifting herself up in part because of the love that she had for Elsa and her desire to make Elsa's sacrifice count. This is set up to some extent in Frozen 2, but I think having a song that outlines their emotional place with a resolution where they arrive at an understanding would drive home that Elsa and Anna were accomplishing all they could because of one another. Pivoting away from Elsa sending Anna and Olaf away when the sisters began to argue, I believe should have been replaced with a moment where a dramatic song would bring Elsa and Anna to expose their insecurities, address their arguments, and would forge them down a path that would make the third act even more emotionally resonant. Anna and Elsa promised each other that they would face this adventure together, and I think just one song could have made their journey all the better. So when they finally would come together and hug again, we would also have felt like they had lifted the curse, confronted the Enchanted Forest, and found their places in the world together. But let me know down below what your thoughts are about this idea, and are there any moments you change in Frozen 2? Also, make sure to subscribe and click the beautiful bell, and then click on another magical video in the description or on the screen. Finally, as always, thanks for watching, and have a magical day.